Yo, what is going on YouTube? I am Germ here, as you guys can see up on the screen today. I wanted to talk about 100 Thieves a little bit because things are about to start getting very, very interesting for them, really from this weekend into the foreseeable future. Not only because the LCS playoffs start this weekend, 100 Thieves doesn't actually play until next weekend, or no, they don't even play, they still have 2 more weeks before they actually play, but still with the LCS playoffs kicking off, they're going to start, finding out who they're about to play in 2 weeks. They're going to have to start scouting, they're starting to get ready, all this craziness, but also, how their playoff run goes, whether they make it to Worlds, whatever. People are starting to realize that 100 Thieves is about to have a very, very interesting offseason ahead of them, where they're going to have to potentially make some very, very difficult decisions. And obviously, on my channel, we love talking about rumors, we love talking about roster changes, we love theory craft and all that stuff. So that's what we're going to be doing in today's video, kind of looking ahead to what could be possibly down the line for 100 Thieves, because I think it's very, very interesting. So definitely drop a like if you guys do enjoy this video. I would appreciate it so much. Subscribe to stay up to date on all my latest content, and consider checking out my Patreon, patreon.com/IamGerm. I'm thinking this week we're going to record the very first podcast episode. It's going to be live streamed on YouTube, and the VOD is going to be uploaded onto Patreon. I think that's where the Patreon's kind of headed for the future. So if that sounds interesting to you, definitely check that out. With that being said, here we go. So 100 Thieves, they have so much going on. They had this article come out the other day from esports.gg where they had an interview with PapaSmithy, and he is talking about Kenvi. If you don't know Kenvi, he recently played in the LCS this past weekend, his very first game in the LCS ever, 400 Thieves. Obviously, they benched their starters, their academy team got to play. Kenvi has been with the 100 Thieves organization for 2 or 3 years now. He was on like 100 Thieves Next. They're like their third team that was like a bunch of high school kids and stuff that were still in school and didn't have necessarily the amount of time or weren't old enough or whatever yet to play in academy. They were kind of building this next generation of LCS stars. Tenacity was on that team. Kenvi was on that team. He has been a very, very hyped up prospect for a long time. Now this year he's been in academy, and then he got a little bit of LCS time, and he is a very, very hyped up prospect. He is somebody that 100 Thieves has had their eye on for a long time, and they've been kind of working him up to be their jungler of the future. Most people understand that. Most people see that. It's not hard to see. And what's very, very interesting is the main quote from this article, the headline: "It is obvious this kid is going to be the next star of the LCS." And that makes things very, very interesting because 100 Thieves right now has Closer, and Closer's coming off a pretty damn good season. I personally am not a super huge fan of Closer. I think he is a little bit overrated. I think he's a little bit overhyped. There's people trying to say that he's better than Spica, that he's had a better season than Spica. I'm not really there. I think Closer is good. I think he's not great. I think he's definitely upgradable. I think he is a jungler on a very, very strong team. I think he's solid. He's not bad. But I just don't know that he's like that elite superstar level jungler. I don't think he's a guy that 100 Thieves needs to keep necessarily for the long term. I think he is potentially replaceable. Not just by anybody, but I think he is possible to upgrade from, and I think there is a chance 100 Thieves could make an upgrade there, and it could make them a stronger team. Also, he is an import, and that is something very, very difficult to work with around roster building and stuff. Sometimes if you want to try and make upgrades, usually you're going to need very, very strong resident players, and obviously with Kenvi being a resident, if they think Kenvi is the next superstar of the LCS, they could potentially need to move on from Closer. And I know that might sound a little bit crazy, but that could be ahead for 100 Thieves. I'm going to be kind of explaining why. So in this interview, they talk about a lot of awesome things. They actually talk about how they've been making sure with their young players, their 100 Thieves Next players, their academy players, making sure they are well-rounded, making sure, yes, they play a ton of League of Legends, they practice hard, they train hard, all this stuff, but also they get to do other stuff. They still get to be teenagers. They still get to experience life. They still get to grow up and all these things. I think it sounds very, very healthy. I think it sounds very, very awesome. But what they do talk about here in this interview about Kenvi is that he's actually the first player that PapaSmithy looked at when they first developed the idea to create an amateur team. Kenvi was the first player the scouts recommended. Kelsey, Joseph Jang, and Zix all had this idea to create a third team. They wanted to target high school players who could not commit full-time to esports but would be able to in the future. He's a Filipino born, moved to Canada a couple years ago, very soft-spoken and unsure of himself, but his gameplay is just cerebral. You can see from his gameplay that he's mechanically and he's very mechanical and talented jungler. He's a confirmed killer. He's so mechanically blessed, and investing in him was a no-brainer. It is obvious that this kid is going to be the next star of the LCS. They said, you know, his gameplay is undeniable, and he also said, when it comes to the excitement around Kenvi, you should definitely be excited. This kid is a superstar jungler in the making. When this will take place, talking about him coming to the LCS, PapaSmithy is unsure. Roster building will be a pain moving forward into 2022. He is going to light up the LCS in the future, that is no doubt. So, PapaSmithy there is hinting at and acknowledging the fact that 100 Thieves is going to have some very, very difficult roster decisions going on, some very, very difficult roster decisions to be made. Now, I think part of this is obviously going to start with the playoffs and how things are going to go. You know, here is the playoff bracket. 100 Thieves is going to face the winner of the game that's going on today, the best of 5, the match, whatever you want to call it, it's going on today, Evil Geniuses and Dignitas. Now, I'm pretty sure Evil Geniuses had the best record throughout all of summer, so if EG does beat Dig and then takes on 100 Thieves, that is going to be a very, very tough match. And the winner of that, if it's EG 100 Thieves or whoever 100 Thieves plays, the winner of that match is going to Worlds. They're automatically qualifying, and if 100 Thieves makes it to Worlds, that would be an awesome year for them. That'd be a huge step up from where they've been previously. But if 100 Thieves loses to Evil Geniuses, where I do believe Evil Geniuses is going to be the favorite in that series, they go down to this losers bracket that is going to be an absolute gauntlet, where then to qualify for Worlds, you're going to have to beat 2 of Cloud9, Team Liquid, and TSM. It's going to be very, very tough. You're only going to have one shot. And there is a real world where 100 Thieves, they have a tough road. Again, if they beat EG, everything's good to go. But if they lose to EG, all of a sudden, 100 Thieves would not be likely to make it to Worlds. You know, they would not be favored to make it to Worlds at that point. And if from what they've done, you know, putting all this time, all this money into this team, going out and getting Abadage, if they still do not qualify for Worlds, if they do come up short, some changes could definitely be made in the future. And obviously, one of those could be, depending on how Closer plays, depending on how the playoffs play out, if they go to Worlds, depending on how that plays out. I mean, if they make it to Worlds, they have a great showing at Worlds, all of this changes. But if they falter in these playoffs, I think some changes could be coming to 100 Thieves for sure. And one of the big reasons is actually the LCS contract database, where right now, Closer signed till 2023, and, you know, that would tell you, you know, he's probably good to go. He's probably going to be chilling on 100 Thieves. But the interesting thing here is that Kenvi, right here, is only signed through 2022. So next year is the last season that 100 Thieves has control of this guy. And if you believe he is the next superstar of the LCS, obviously you would try to re-sign him, but he is not going to re-sign with your team. You know, you would assume, especially a hot up-and-coming prospect like this, a guy who, PapaSmithy is not the only one who thinks he has the potential to be a future LCS superstar. Maybe he wants to stick with 100 Thieves. Maybe he's cool chilling on Academy till they're ready for him to go. But maybe he wants a shot at the LCS. Maybe 100 Thieves is going to have to give him that opportunity sooner rather than later, or he's going to leave, or he's going to go get a bunch of money. Yes, 100 Thieves always has the opportunity to, like, sell him off or whatever, but also, to really get the maximum value out of him, you're going to have to let him play in the LCS and prove to other teams that not only is he a hyped up-and-coming prospect, but he can do it at the LCS level as well. So, I think all of a sudden, even though Closer has been very good, even though he's been great, even though he's an MVP candidate this season, I think this offseason is going to be very, very interesting. Again, it starts with the playoffs. It starts with the World, you know, depending on how all of this goes. But there is a very, very real possibility that this little run right here, this summer split and into the future, could be the last time we see Closer on 100 Thieves, because I think they need to give Kenvi an opportunity. One, if they want to see what he's got, and two, if they want him to stick around with the team, because again, he is going to be a free agent. Next year is his last year, and if he doesn't get any playing time, if he doesn't get to go to the LCS, why would he not leave and go to another team? Why would he not go get a huge contract, get to start in the LCS, get to play in the LCS? Why would he just chill in Perma Academy if he really is as good as advertised? I don't know, and I don't think it would make sense for 100 Thieves either, because if you can get a player of that caliber, of that potential, who is also a resident, it makes your roster building going into the future so much easier, and those are just one of the most valuable things in the LCS right now, is top tier superstar potential resident players. So yes, 100 Thieves is going to have some tough decisions to make, but man, I really think the pressure is on for Closer and 100 Thieves to perform right away, or some big changes could be coming into the future. But that is pretty much it for this video today, guys. Definitely drop a like if you did enjoy it. Leave a comment down below. What do you think 100 Thieves should do? Should they keep Closer and Kenvi? Should they sell Kenvi, sell Closer? I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions. Subscribe to stay up to date on all my latest content. Consider checking out my Patreon, patreon.com/IamGerm. Hopefully catch you guys in the next one. But until then, peace.